Okay, welcome to Isis and the Bible Spring Gathering, week number 4, Perseus. What can you tell us about the story of Perseus? Wow, what a great discussion. We'll edit the video, we'll add it all in there. It's amazing. The myth of Perseus slaying Medusa reflected in the current celestial dance, currently, when I say in the sky right now, the celestial dance of Uranus and the star Algol of constellation Perseus. This literally vibrates us with a special message. The question becomes, who plays the roles in this myth? Who is Perseus? Who is Medusa? And who is Pegasus, the flying horse? Is it someone around you? Is it you? What's your thoughts? Glad you could join us today. Quickly, let's go over what's happening in the sky, and this is what's related today. So on May the 4th, May the 5th, wherever you're at, because I'm thinking this is right around Cinco de Mayo, Uranus, which represents the womb, the roof over your head, so the houses, Exodus, okay? Anything to do with the roof over your head, the roof of your eye, the roof of your head. Uranus aligns Algol, all right? And Algol, we'll talk about that more in this rest of this presentation, but this is very significant because Algol is part of the constellation Perseus. But what else is happening in the exact same time? And here is, somebody mentioned Juno, which is Mary Magdalene, is another representation of Medusa's mother. It becomes really cool. So while this whole alignment is happening on, we also have Mars being Perseus, that's the star in Cancer, which represents everything turns to gold, right? Ceres is going to be exactly aligned the North Node, and Ceres is relationships with leaving people. So if you're leaving a home, it could be a whole bunch of relationships changing, new relationships, severing old relationships, right? Leaving the visible, that's Ceres. Venus aligns with Neptune on that day. And don't forget, all these things happening in Pisces is that you're getting rid of the old, right? And of course, Mother Mary is there. But also, interestingly enough, this is Medusa. Lilith is on Deneb Al-Gadi, which is a judicial point going into Aquarius and Capricorn. This judicial point means, are you going to decide to be 1 foot in the water, 1 foot in the land, or are you going to stay both feet in the land? So that's very interesting that during this whole thing where Uranus aligns Algol, the star in Perseus, we get Lilith at play because this is Medusa. So I just thought I'd preface that. Submit or turn yourself to stone. Submit to love and don't submit to the desires. Don't submit to sexual desires. And that's what Lilith brings, temptations versus gifts. So just to show you that Mother Nature is showing her face constantly, always. Man tries to take credit and people try to put symptoms and placebo events and give it credit to somewhere else. So there's a widespread power outage hits Spain and neighboring countries, France and Portugal. 10 gigawatt of demand drop. Look at this. Boom, boom. That's a lot of demand. It's huge. So this is what happened. When you go and look at that time, Mother Mary was right overhead, exactly overhead at that exact time. Mother Nature showing her. Ceres is on Markab, but that's the star on Pegasus' wings. This isn't just hooey pooey. This isn't coincidence. Mother Nature is showing us that she's home, and we have to become the souls that we are, the ones that are pure. We're getting the messages left, right, and center. I've had many messages from when Mother Mary is overhead, including raining on me when I knew she was outside, and I went outside because I got called outside by a grackle looking up. So you can see people, relationships, people getting off a train, talking with people, and that's what Ceres does. She makes new relationships. So we're going to be like the bees. We're going to know exactly what we need to do to be that loving community around the world completely. So we have no choice, but we need to submit to it. So during that alignment, what else was at play? Mars was rising. Okay, so Mars is very energetic. And how do we know? Just as a side note, here's Nikola Tesla, the guy into energy. Chris sent me this. Look at he's totally into energy. And Mars is on the south node, north node in Tesla's chart. His moon is on the vertex. It's all in Virgo. His Lilith is in, you got to be careful of his desires. This is what knocked him down because he was looking for money. He should have shared everything. Shouldn't worried about patents. He should have shared it. He did start sharing, but I guess it wasn't time. And you can see that Nikola Tesla, this is all about energy, because this is where the 369 is in the circle of 60. He's right on the nativity scene, and he also has Ceres and Saturn aligned together. Father Time and Ceres, severance. This alignment usually brings people in not good feelings of leaving the visible. And I'm sure he's electrocuted himself a few times. What's happening in the sky is absolutely showing us that we need to submit to love and through that forgiveness process. So moving along. So Perseus is the celestial hero, stands at the threshold of myth and truth. As Uranus, the womb of the sky, aligns with Algol. And Star Algol is slaying the untruth. Perseus overcoming Medusa, Lilith's temptations. That's why you see all these things happening in politics and everybody's fighting against the untruth. So people are going to get on their Pegasus horse and they're going to slay the untruth with love, though, and forgiveness on their heart sleeve. They have to do that first. So that's overcoming Lilith's temptations, the temptations of money, sexuality, all those things. Lilith is exactly the same as Sekhmet, is exactly the same as Medusa. So this essence in the sky, 100%. When men get tempted like crazy, Lilith is at play. And you can see, look at all the cobras on Sekhmet's head. So this is 100% as Lilith in the sky. These aren't myths, people. These are actual energies, essences to guide you. We got to go back to being those goody two-shoes. We have to. It's part of what's happening. That's why we made this, right? So there's Perseus showing, really, what you're doing is you're slaying yourself. You're slaying those temptations. Or you got to know that, or else you're going to turn yourself to stone. It's you that does it. But you get guided from everybody. So the people that are playing the part of Lilith, the women that are playing the part of Lilith, they don't know any better, but they're doing it because you're calling them to you so you can talk to yourself, letting you know that you're not supposed to behave that way. That blinking star, Algol, the star of transformation, mirroring our call to step beyond the fear and confront the illusions that bind us to materialism, just as Perseus faced Medusa. But there's a twist in the story. It's not Medusa's head you are slaying, it's the temptations in your own mind that you are slaying. So Uranus is nuked on the Egyptian walls, the top of the sky, the top of the womb. That's why we show you this with the baby in the womb, right?
Sorry, Claudio, because I misunderstand you. In the past, you have said that Uranus is Shu, the supporter of that.
Right. So it is the space and the womb. It creates the womb. When there is a cesarean, a Uranus is at play. But yes, I've said both Shu and I've said Newt, because this is the wind and it's actually both. So 100%, I did say that in the past. But when I see the wind pick up because of Uranus, and when I see a cesarean happening with Uranus, it's actually both, because space has no properties. So yes, you're right. I have said that in the past, but I've also been stating for the last 3-4 months that it's also the womb, because it lifts up the sky, because the skin is really Libra. So yes, is it Newt? Is it Shu? Is it both? Right now, I say it's both.
So may I say that when the feminine and the male fully cooperate, the difference fades,
Go ahead.
becomes one?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think that's the most beautiful message in it. Thank you.
Thank you. So represents, because there is no duality in reality, right? Because everything is one. So Uranus represents the cosmic womb and the firmament, sheltering life beneath her infinite body and making the cycles of creation and rebirth, inviting us to recognize the false roof of egoic desires and courageously choosing the inner sky of pure being as Perseus chooses divine path. Again, all these roofs over our head, we change them, but we have this materialistic desire to say, that's mine. And in our redemption process, we give everything back to the crown. We give everything back to Mother Nature. You don't own anything. You're a co-user, co-recipient. And once you make that commitment, then they take care of everything for you. All your bills, all your utilities, no more taxes, all that stuff. That's what ends up happening. But you got to be there in the mind first to make it really happen. And it's happening. And then everybody will see the benefits. That's where that seamless 100th monkey effect happens. So Ceres is at play on the 4th and the 5th. People are going to change relationships. They're going to change wombs. They're going to change houses. It's happening. There's people actually that are reaching out to me. They're leaving on that day. So it's happening this whole month, because we've talked about that in the past, and I'll talk about it in the next slide. But this is happening. It's okay, though. You're infinite. Don't fight it. If you're asked to go, go. You're getting guidance.
Wow, Claudio. Lately, I was a little bit annoyed about, let's say, the light worker environment, because I heard certain sounds that outside them, forces of other people did withheld the advancement. But I now totally understand that we just have to walk another mile, and it's not important that we, how should I say it, that we show our understanding as the most beautiful. It's showing our understanding to be of truth. So it feels like a difference between still being in spiritual ego and be aware, maybe I'm still in spiritual ego, but I am aware of the presence of it being to be dissolved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Chris?
I watched a video this morning of a woman, Vedic astrologer, and she was talking about Chiron coming into Aries, and it just thought I should mention that. And also, when I look at the glyph of Uranus, I kind of see like Pluto, but I see like, you know, the cardinal points of the cross in the center, and then the two, like, what do you call that? Semi-square of like the houses of like the 11th and the 2nd house, and the 8th and the, looks like the 5th. I know that Ceres represents harvesting pure seeds. There's a regeneration of that. And I also, like I mentioned about Chiron coming into our head from, I think the woman said that Chiron's been stationed for 7 years in Pisces. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's like kind of like the light within the self to help heal the self, to my understanding. That's it.
Exactly. 100%. Yes. So if we went and looked at the people that, I guess 11 people left the visible because of some bus accident, if we pulled all their charts, Sarah's would be at play. It was their time to change wombs. Uranus does that, and Sarah's does that. It's time. But they're infinite, so we shouldn't judge. They're in a Hatfields and a McCoys. It's something they're taking each other out, that everybody needs to realize that we need to 100% start resorting back to love through the forgiveness process. So on May 4th and 5th, Uranus's alignment with Algol signals a metaphysical exodus, where humanity shifts the visible roof of their consciousness to new realms, just as Perseus, laying of Medusa, symbolizing breaking free from the petrification of the body caused by attachment to form, our attachment to sexual desires, our attachment to material things. This changes the roof over your head. This is Exodus. We've been saying for many, many months now that Uranus is going back and forth, and then starting in March 18th, 2025, it starts transiting through Taurus. And we're showing you the bull and the stock market, all that stuff's going to start crumbling. It's going to happen. This happened last time Uranus was in and crossed this line, okay, back in the 30s and 40s. The astrologers can't see this because we're off by 23 degrees. Go ahead, Lex.
Yeah, what is in roof? A house has a basement, which is the root, and it has a roof. Together, it's roof.
Yeah. Good one. Good one. Thank you for that, Lex. This is Emoto's waters. When the light will shine right through us and we'll feel no resistance, and nobody's going to come and worry. You're not going to worry about anything. So that we have to be that pure water. Pegasus is the horse. A horse represents what? A horse represents Sagittarius. It's the archer on horseback, the centaur. When you're in spiritual law, you fly. When you stick to 100% spiritual law and all this guidance, you get your wings. And anything you imagine, you get. So everything that will be outside of you starts coming to you, but as long as it's not a materialistic way, a selfishness way, watch your whole world change. That's the beautiful part.
Makes sense too, because Jupiter is going into Gemini, which is pointing true north, and then the shift of the nodes, right, from Aquarius and Leo.
Yes. So I wanted to show this because Susan asked me about when Medusa pulls a snake, somebody turns a stone. There's the black snakes. In other words, the one that's more black. I gave it color so you can see it, or else you wouldn't be able to. So there's the black snake, and then there's the white snake, made up of the 7 colors of your chakras, right? So when the one gets pulled, there's nothing left but stone. So there is 2 snakes. In reality, one is the white snake and one is the black snake. Because nothing really travels. This is just going, it's just going in and out. There's going to be one white, one black, red shift, blue shift, however you want to call it, in the field. This field expands and contracts. So when you pull one snake, there's only left the body, because that vibration is still there, even though it doesn't have that ebb and flow of the love that gets pulled. The Exodus narrative mirrors the celestial change as the people left Egypt. They left behind the old firmament, stepping under a new womb of divine guidance, just as we are called to leave behind the hardened materialism, Medusa's stone gaze, and move toward the living, breathing love of the eternal sky. We got to understand what it meant when there was an exodus from Egypt. We left Egypt, meaning the Enlightenment age. When we left the Aryan age, we left Egypt in the brain, in the head, in the Enlightenment, in love. That's what means when they left Egypt. We all fell into the Piscean age. Now it's time to return to the light language we left behind on the walls in Egypt. And while I'm doing this, Chris sends me something about what's happening with the wind and sky, and it looked like this is kind of like Perseus with a sword there. So I just thought I'd throw that there. So the Algol-Uranus alignment on the 5th heralds a collective rebirth, where Perseus' courage within us awakens us to navigate to the starry river back to the source, symbolizing our inner transformation, where the slain ego gives way to the resurrection of love and the soul's liberation. This is no longer an exodus from Egypt. It's a return to the wisdom of Egypt, where we left all the wisdom behind. And it's all inherent with us. To the living glyphs, the water-born truth etched in stone. This is the Aquarian rereading of what was once hidden behind veils. It was our own veil. Everything is hidden in plain sight. The walls were never just historical. They are living reflections of soul geometry, reborn only when the ego is gone and return when the waters are pure. So our waters are purifying, so we're going to be able to see all these beautiful messages we left behind. And that's what our wings is. We're able to read our old images. AI is coming out. What's it doing? It's helping us part the muddy water so we can see it.